fresh off another tomato festival in Pittston, John-Eric Poli joins us. And thank you, John. I know it was a busy weekend for you in Pittston. You love it. He also did a preview of the tomato festival last week, a great story, so make sure you check that out. But today we're talking sports, and you're filling in for Dave Seaman at the Standard Speaker, John, which is good because we have some stuff to talk about. Dave and I, both Penn State guys, tried to preview Notre Dame football, but you're here to do it the right way, so I appreciate that. Let's go back to last season, man. 12-1. You thought it was going to be a good year.
Definitely.
Maybe exceeded the expectations a little bit. The state of the Notre Dame program. Let's start off as a fan in that. You have to be happy with the direction. Going to the college football playoff last year. I know they lost. You know, they had the big loss in the national championship game a few years ago. Big loss last year in the college football playoff. But, I mean, they're getting there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at the program, just the way how it's, taken off throughout the years. I mean, even there was that one bad season with Deshaun Kaiser in the mix. I think they were 4-8, but the season before that, they were in the mix that year, too. They were a 10-win team that year. They played Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. So it seems like the program is really, they've had the pieces there the last couple of years. And, obviously the college football playoff loss and the national championship loss that you mentioned, those are the 2 years that things kind of, everything, tied together, and they were able to put themselves in that national contender spot. So now it's just a matter of, you have the pieces year in and year out. You're starting to get there. Now it's about being a contender year in and year out.
Wasn't Clemson like that? We don't have to go off on a Clemson tangent, but I mean, they were kind of one of those teams that kind of hung around. They were near the top, and then all of a sudden, boom, now they're defending national champions. So 2019 for Notre Dame, John, coming into the season ranked number 9 in the preseason coaches poll. Ian Book is back at quarterback. Ron Marchetti called that last year. He said Book would be the starting quarterback by the end of the year. There's a lot of talent there on the offense. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. You see any drop-off, or you think it's going to be a good offensive season for the Fighting Irish?
Well, first off, Ron Marchetti said that Book would be the starter in week 4, and by week 4, he was the starter. So Ronnie was really spot on with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Notre Dame on offense, I mean, they don't skip a beat. Notre Dame now, because Notre Dame's biggest thing was for years, their offense would be amazing and compete with anybody. It was their defense that would give them problems. And it's still a Notre Dame football. Your offense is going to be fantastic. And when you look this year, Ian Book back at quarterback, he proved himself a lot last year, especially using his legs too. A lot of people thought he was just going to be a pocket passer, and he was able to create some movement and get around, make a couple scrambles there. So if that gets better, he's going to be even a bigger force for the Notre Dame offense. But then, you lose Dexter Williams at running back, but Jafar Armstrong, he was their number 2 last year. He should come in. He should be able to step right in. 2 of your top 4 receivers are back this year. Then you look at their offensive line. Notre Dame has always had one of the best offensive lines in football. This year, just like that, their line is huge. You look at both tackles coming in at 6'6". You have 2 guards, 6'5". One of your guards is 325 pounds. He's expected to be the top guard drafted this year. So Notre Dame on the offensive side, not going to miss a beat.
Last year, just an outstanding defensive season, so that means usually you're going to lose some guys to the NFL, and that are they going to reload on that side of the ball? The side of the ball where you said it's kind of key if Notre Dame is going to have that top 10 season.
Well, luckily for Notre Dame, you return 6 starters on defense. So that's off to a good start. The problem there is you lose Jerry Tillery up front, who was a great defensive end, a 4-year starter, too, for Notre Dame. So you lose him. He gets drafted. You lose both of your inside linebackers. So the key is going to be here, can they be able to get pressure on the quarterback? Can they be able to stuff the middle of the field, stop the run game? I think in the defensive backfield, they should be fine.
So can they put it together? Not a lot of time, John, when they look at the schedule. By week 3, you have a game at Georgia in primetime. The season starts off in primetime. Notre Dame seems to be in primetime a lot, but at Louisville in primetime. I think everyone who will look at the Notre Dame schedule this year will say, oh, 10-2, because they're going to lose to Georgia and Michigan. And that's honestly what I did, just from the outside. Is that what you're thinking, too? Maybe a 10-2 season, or you think they get one of those wins at Michigan or at Georgia?
I think the at Michigan one is a lot more realistic. It seems like Notre Dame's had Michigan's number the last couple times, too. The at Georgia one, now don't forget, when they played 2 years ago, Notre Dame should have won that game. They outplayed them. They just kept going down the field and kicking field goals. When you got to score touchdowns, they lose. I think it was the last-second field goal they lost to Georgia. But going into Georgia's going to be hungry, just missing out on the playoffs last year. That one's going to be tough. I'm going to say that's definitely a loss in the schedule. But yeah, it's possible.
So you're saying 1 or 2 losses?
I'm going to go with 2, just because of how hard their schedule is. I read a couple places saying that Virginia could possibly take the ACC Coastal this year, saying that they're in a good spot in their program now. So Notre Dame has them. USC is supposed to be a lot better. Obviously, that Michigan game is going to be tough. So Notre Dame's schedules, it really is every year. We have this conversation every year how tough Notre Dame's schedule is.
So before we sign off, John, people might not know they could read your work online. You also work for a blog.
That's right. I work for My MMA News. It's a great website. The website's growing too. It really is. They're doing a great job. we cover everything there. So yeah, I work as a freelance writer there. If you follow me on Instagram at John Eric Poli, whenever I have a story, I immediately go to my Instagram and I let people know where they can find it. So yeah, I'm looking to get more and more involved in it too, because I really enjoy writing about it. So check me out on Instagram and you'll be able to see all my work there.
All right. Well, local sports fans, Notre Dame fans, combat sports fans, and John Eric Poli fans, I hope you're all very satisfied with this week's edition of Dave Day, filling in for Dave. Thank you on Community NEPA News.